Texas has been Democrats' white whale for the last 30 years, but recent polls showed their spear, well, it could be pretty well aimed. Ted Cruz is in the fight for his political life against Democratic Congressman Colin Allred. Allred has outraised Cruz. Allred has outspent Cruz. And on Friday, Allred will appear with Vice President Harris in Houston to boost momentum in a state with one of the lowest voter turnout rates in the country, where they'll have the monumental task of getting Texas Democrats, who spent the last 3 decades saying, why bother, to start saying, why not? Joining us now, Democratic Congressman and candidate for U.S. Senate, Colin Allred, who represents the state of Texas. I'm mangling my words today, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Katie. Thanks for having me on.
So why do you think this year could be the year? Democrats have been saying this now at least the last 3 election cycles.
Yeah, I'm not really interested in our past. I'm interested in our future. And the fact is that Ted Cruz is too small for Texas. I've been endorsed by every major editorial board in our state. We had a debate the other night where, I think I exposed him for what he is. We are working right now and seeing already, fantastic early voting turnout. And we don't have to have a senator who goes to Cancun when we need them most, or who takes away a fundamental right from Texas women. This is not who we are. I'm a 4th-generation Texan, and I know who we are. And so this is an election about our future. And on November 5th, we're going to turn the page and beat Ted Cruz.
Why do you think it's going to help to have Kamala Harris there by your side in what is such a red state? She doesn't have much of a chance to win the state, whereas it seems like you do have a chance to beat Senator Cruz. How does she, being at your side in Houston, help you?
Well, this abortion ban that we're dealing with in Texas is just horrific. And what we're going to do is have Texas women telling their stories. And I think that Ted Cruz's singular responsibility for this is something that I've stayed focused on throughout this campaign. But I'm glad that Texas women are getting their voices heard. They deserve to be heard. Most of the stories and many of the stories that folks have heard across the country of what it's like to live under an abortion ban like we have here in Texas is from Texas women. And I know other folks see them and hear them, but they are my friends. I get to know them. I get to see them on the campaign trail. I see the tears in their eyes when they're explaining to me what they've been forced to go through by their state. And so we're going to talk about that and make sure we hold Ted Cruz accountable and have a senator who will make Roe v. Wade the law of the land again after this election.
You broke with Democrats on the subject of immigration. What do you think needs to be done? What is your policy on the border in Texas?
Well, we have to have an adult conversation about it. And that begins, yes, with border security. And Ted Cruz said earlier this year that we don't need a border bill. And he took down $20 billion in additional funding that have helped us hire more Border Patrol agents, immigration judges, technology to stop fentanyl. That's important. But we also have to fix our broken legal immigration system, which is contributing to some of what we see at the southern border. Every employer I talk to in Texas wants us to address this. And then in the longer term, we have to work to try and stabilize some of the countries where we see that are driving so much of this migration. I'm a member of the Foreign Affairs Committee. There is good work we can do to do institution building to try and alleviate some of the worst conditions that are causing so many folks to make that journey. We won't ever be able to eliminate all that, but we can do some of the work towards it. And so that's the kind of adult conversation we have to have, not one where Senator Cruz just wants to talk tough about the border and go down to our border communities and kind of treat them like he's on a safari, but then never actually do any action.
If you look at the polling out of Texas, and I've got this polling from the University of Texas at Austin, when you look at what the Democrats' top issue is for 2024, abortion is right up there. The economy up there as well. Immigration is almost nowhere. It's not as big of an issue for Democrats, and 1%. But for Republicans, it is the biggest issue. Nearly 30% of Republicans in Texas say it's their #1 issue. If you got a voter who's considering voting for you because they're kind of over Ted Cruz, and they say, I don't agree with the Biden administration's policy on the border, what are you going to do differently, or what would you advocate for differently? What do you say to them? What does that adult conversation consist of?
There's plenty to say, beginning with that I won't do what Ted Cruz has done, which is take down efforts to try and actually address the problem, right? So when you have a $20 billion potential investment in border security, well, where's that money going to go? It's going to come to Texas. we're going to hire 1,500 new Border Patrol agents. That would largely be in Texas. 100 new immigration judges, 4,000 new asylum personnel. So actually doing something is part of it. But you're right, I have broken with my party on this, and I've said before that we have to have much more of a sense of urgency about this, and that we have to make sure that we do have a comprehensive plan for border security. But what we don't have to do, though, is tip over into cruelty. And this is where I disagree with some of the stunts that I see being done by folks who I think just want to use the border to try and rile up anger and get some power for themselves. That actually doesn't secure the border, and it won't actually help.
I know you must experience this down there. We're experiencing it here in New York. There's a lot of asylum seekers who are here in New York now, and they can't work for, I think it's 6 weeks. Or 6 months, excuse me, before after they cross the border and before they can get their work permits. So they're, asking for money on the street, or they're selling candy in the subway. Would you advocate? There goes my microphone. Would you advocate changing the rules to make it easier for them to start working faster?
Here's what I think we have to do with the asylum system: is that it is being abused, and it was never meant to handle this level of people who are trying to access it. And so that's why when I talk about the investments that we have to make, no matter what you do at the executive level, whatever presidential policy is put in place, they can't provide the resources to help us deal with this enormous asylum backlog that we have. Because about 90% of these folks, Katie, are going to be denied in their asylum claim eventually, because what they are seeking is economic, help. They're coming for economic reasons by and large, and that's not one of the asylum factors. And so they're going to be denied, but it's going to take 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years maybe for some of them to get that claim fully adjudicated because of the enormous backlog that we have. And so that's what we have to address. And that's why when we say we're going to hire 100 new immigration judges and 4,000 asylum officers, and we're going to change the asylum standard itself in that Senate bill that Ted Cruz took down and that I supported, that's what that would help us address, right? Is dealing with the specific issue that we have of having an asylum system that is completely not set up to deal with the numbers that it has been seeing. So when you address that, you would lower that time.
So you're arguing, you're arguing the first issue is dealing with the asylum problem and the backlog. Congressman Colin Allred, fighting for Ted Cruz's seat in the Senate. Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate it.
Thanks.
And we did invite Senator Ted Cruz to join us on the show. That invite is open, and he can come on whenever he chooses. Coming up.